The Kim Kardashian Diamond Heist 2025 is a dramatized retelling of the infamous 2016 Paris robbery involving Kim Kardashian, exploring both the glitz of celebrity life and the chilling reality of a high-stakes heist. The movie opens during Paris Fashion Week, where Kim is fully immersed in the luxury and excitement of the fashion capital. She is portrayed as a global icon whose rise in fashion and social media has transformed her into one of the most photographed people on earth. The film emphasizes Kim's influence in shaping modern social media culture, highlighting her ability to craft her own narrative through selfies, live videos, and posts that give the world a window into her life. Her presence in Paris is both aspirational and strategic. She wants to be seen to engage with fans and to cement her status as a fashion authority, especially after collaborating with Kanye West, who elevates her style and public image. As the film establishes the allure of her glamorous life, it also lays the groundwork for tension. Kim's openness on social media inadvertently exposes her location and her wealth, leaving her vulnerable to criminal opportunists. Her frequent posts about her jewelry, fashion, and daily routines become a narrative device that foreshadows the impending danger. This sets up the story's central conflict, the intersection of fame, exposure, and risk. The movie carefully portrays the Parisian setting, not just the luxury and allure of Fashion Week, but the intense scrutiny, competition, and occasional snobbery from the French fashion elite, who initially viewed Kim as too flashy and overly American. This backdrop underscores the contrast between her confident public persona and the vulnerability she faces in private. The heist sequence begins with a meticulously orchestrated break-in at Kim's Paris hotel suite. Disguised as police officers, a team of armed robbers gains access to the building, fooling the night watchman and bypassing the first layer of security. Once inside, they confront Kim directly. The movie conveys the terror of the moment with intimate cinematography. Kim, startled in her bedroom, initially mistakes the intruders for her sister, a reflection of her sense of security and normalcy being violently disrupted. The robbers demand her jewelry, with a specific focus on her highly publicized diamond ring worth millions. The film emphasizes her isolation and vulnerability. She is nearly naked, restrained with tape, and left in the bathtub while the robbers flee with millions of dollars worth of jewelry. This sequence is intense, psychological, and meticulously detailed, illustrating the emotional trauma of being confronted with life-threatening danger in what should have been a safe space. Parallel to the heist, the movie highlights the real-time global reaction. News outlets and social media explode with speculation, rumor, and misinformation. Some believe the event was a publicity stunt, a conspiracy, or even an insurance scam, reflecting society's fascination with celebrity scandals. The film examines these responses critically, showing how public perception can often distort reality, while Kim herself experiences the genuine horror of the attack. Her immediate post-trauma behavior, disappearing from social media, withdrawing from public life, is depicted as both necessary and authentic, contrasting with the relentless attention her life normally receives. The movie uses this tension between private trauma and public spectacle to explore themes of vulnerability, fame, and the invasive nature of media scrutiny. The investigative arc of the story runs concurrently with the heist narrative. The BRB, Brigade de Répression du Banditisme, is portrayed as a highly professional and competent police unit specializing in organized crime. The film delves into the forensic process, highlighting how the police collect DNA, fingerprints, and trace evidence left by the perpetrators. This scientific investigation ultimately identifies two key suspects, Amr Kidake and Yunus Abbas, both experienced criminals with histories of robbery and drug trafficking. The movie portrays these characters with a mix of menace and realism, emphasizing that the threat was calculated and professional, not random or impulsive. The investigative sequences are detailed, methodical, and tense, showing how law enforcement pieces together clues from both physical evidence and patterns of criminal behavior. Characterization is central to the film's depth. Kim is portrayed with complexity, glamorous and confident in public, vulnerable and human in private. Her relationship with Kanye West is depicted as transformative, both in her personal confidence and public style. The film also gives attention to her family, particularly her mother Kris Jenner, and their collective concern during the crisis. Emotional moments like phone calls between Kim and Kanye or family reactions humanize the high-profile story and contrast sharply with the violence of the robbery. The trauma of the event is portrayed realistically. Even after the immediate danger has passed, the psychological impact lingers, influencing Kim's behavior, social media engagement, and approach to security. The movie also explores the cultural clash inherent in the story, the conspicuous wealth and openness of American celebrities versus the more understated, reserved nature of Parisian society. Kim's display of wealth through social media is a plot device that both attracts admiration and inadvertently exposes her to danger. Fashion Week itself is shown as a glittering but precarious stage where status, image, and opportunity intersect with the potential for exploitation. Scenes from parties, after shows, and intimate behind-the-scenes moments provide contrast to the violence of the heist, creating a rhythm between glamour and fear, public performance and private vulnerability. From a cinematic perspective, the film balances suspense with spectacle. Fashion montages, red carpet moments, and social media sequences establish Kim's world, while tight, claustrophobic shots during the heist immerse the audience in her fear. The score intensifies the tension, transitioning from upbeat, glamorous cues during Fashion Week to tense, suspenseful compositions during the robbery and aftermath. The pacing allows both the audience and the characters to process the enormity of the crime and its emotional fallout. Post-heist scenes examine the meticulous work of the police, the scrutiny of the media, and the psychological recovery of Kim, emphasizing that the story does not end with the theft itself but continues through the investigation and the personal ramifications of trauma. The movie explores how the robbers relied on sophisticated communication tools, often using newly issued war phones to coordinate, evade detection, and communicate with accomplices. AMR's connection to Didier, nicknamed Les Hublots, is revealed through intercepted phone calls, while police also identify Marceau Baumgartner, a key intermediary responsible for selling stolen jewels in the diamond district of Antwerp. This subplot highlights the global dimension of the crime. Stolen luxury goods often move through established networks where specialized intermediaries ensure discreet sales. Antwerp, famous for its diamond trade, becomes central to the narrative, illustrating the practical challenges for thieves needing reliable buyers to convert high-value jewelry into cash without getting caught. The film emphasizes that while many jewelers operate legally, a minority work with criminal networks, making the city a hub for laundering stolen gems. The story delves into the practicalities of criminal operations, including the necessity of having buyers lined up before committing a high-risk theft. AMR and his accomplices face pressure because the stolen jewelry, particularly Kim's million-dollar ring, is not moving quickly in the resale market. To mitigate risk, they rely on Marceau's connections in Antwerp. The narrative recreates a tense meeting in a McDonald's chosen for its public neutrality, where AMR, Marceau, and an accomplice finalize terms for selling the jewels. Subtle gestures like a slight nod instead of a handshake communicate trust and recognition without attracting attention. The film conveys the meticulous and calculated nature of criminal negotiations, showing that even after a high-profile theft, the logistical and financial steps are fraught with tension, risk, and uncertainty. As the investigation progresses, police expand their understanding of the network. They identify all 5 men present the night of the robbery, including the 2 who entered Kim's bedroom, the getaway drivers and accomplices, along with the female accomplice, AMR's former girlfriend. In January, coordinated arrests take place at dawn across Paris and the south of France, ensuring that none of the suspects could warn each other or escape. Facing the evidence, AMR and Eunice admit to almost everything, while the remaining members deny involvement. The movie captures the human drama of the arrests, emphasizing the psychological weight on both the perpetrators and the investigators, as well as the high stakes of pursuing international criminal networks. The film also addresses the ongoing public discourse and personal reflections surrounding the robbery. Kim's life, previously defined by glamour, wealth, and materialism, is irrevocably altered by the experience. Through interviews and dramatized reflections, she acknowledges the psychological trauma, the terror of believing she might be raped or killed, the vulnerability in what should have been a safe space, and the realization that fame can attract violent attention. She also recognizes that her social media presence, which previously celebrated her wealth and lifestyle, may have inadvertently informed the robbers of her location and valuables. This insight underscores a recurring theme in the film: the collision of hypervisibility with personal security and the risks inherent in living life publicly in the digital age. The film's narrative shows Kim's evolution in the aftermath of the heist. She withdraws from social media, temporarily reflecting on her priorities and re-evaluating the role materialism played in her life. Her public persona becomes more family-centered and less focused on luxury and ostentation. Scenes depict her emphasizing closeness with her children and the importance of personal security, showing how the traumatic event reshaped her values and approach to life. The film balances these introspective moments with external developments in the investigation, providing a dual narrative of personal transformation and procedural rigor. The movie also explores the cultural and generational aspects of the criminal network. The robbers, dubbed les papis braqueurs by the French press, are older, experienced criminals, some with physical limitations such as AMR's partial deafness. Their age contrasts with the high stakes of the operation, highlighting both the calculated audacity and vulnerability of seasoned offenders. Their use of social media intelligence, reconnaissance, and coordination with Antwerp-based intermediaries demonstrates the sophisticated and organized nature of modern heists. The inclusion of interviews with Eunice Abbas, who exhibits no remorse and openly describes using Kim's Snapchat posts to plan the crime, provides chilling insight into how criminals exploit digital footprints to target high-profile individuals. The climax intertwines the investigation, the arrests, and the personal consequences for Kim. It conveys the sense that the robbery was a turning point in her life, an inflection point that forced reflection on her values, her family, and the balance between public visibility and personal safety. The movie emphasizes that the psychological impact of such a crime extends far beyond the immediate threat. The trauma reshapes perceptions of trust, safety, and what truly matters in life. Kim's reflections on her materialistic past, her gratitude for family, and her renewed focus on what is meaningful add emotional weight and humanity to the high-stakes crime story. Through careful pacing, the film intertwines suspenseful procedural sequences, tense criminal negotiations, and intimate personal reflections. It presents the robbery not only as a sensational heist but also as a profound life event that redefines Kim Kardashian's public persona and personal priorities. The story's strength lies in combining the factual investigative process with dramatized emotional experiences, giving viewers both the thrill of a high-profile crime investigation and the human depth of someone navigating trauma, fame, and self-discovery. The narrative ultimately positions the Paris heist as both a remarkable criminal event and a catalyst for transformation, showing how extreme experiences can provoke reflection, growth, and a re-evaluation of priorities in a world defined by visibility, wealth, and risk. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.